Okay, hello everyone. Welcome back to my Parallettes Fundamentals series. This is part 2 of my Parallettes Fundamentals series. If you haven't checked out part 1, then all of the skills in this video are going to use things that we've worked on in that video. So it'd be really worth going back and having a look at that. What we're going to look at in this video is starting to actually take our weight on our arms on the parallettes. So we're going to have a look at doing a tuck hold on the parallettes. We're going to do an L-sit or a pike hold, and then we're going to learn a frog balance, and then we're going to learn how to go from a frog balance down into an L-sit. Again, all of these are going to use fundamental things which we worked on in the previous video. In this video, we're going to be looking at the techniques, the skill of doing these particular movements. So let's go ahead and get into it. Okay, let's get going. Tuck hold. So it looks like this. Okay, quite simple looking. Now we're going to go about it the same way we've gone about all the other skills. We're going to start in our front support. Now remember that the front support has this turned out arm and pulling in through the stomach. Okay, so there's two actions which are working against each other. This going that way, all of this coming in, stomach and all across the chest, rounding up through the lats. Okay, so front support. Now what we're going to do is just start to tiptoe in, and look how I'm bending my legs, okay? I'm keeping my shoulders exactly where they are, tiptoe, 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 and I keep going past my hands, and then my feet are just going to start to lift off, okay? And then I can point my toes if I want to, but there's a moment when your feet are coming past, when the weight will transition from your feet into your hands, if you are doing this pushing through, if you're ready to receive your weight in your arms, pulling up from your stomach. So if you're relaxed or like actually gripping too tightly like this, then you can do it, but it's so much harder work. Like you can just make your arms these struts, these stilts almost, which you can just lean on, okay? Lean on them, push up and away from, no, still. Round it up, tiptoeing in, and don't try to jump to it in the first instance, because you'll swing and you'll fall out, or you might catch it, but it's going to be a lot harder. You really don't need to jump, because you can just float in, okay? So you round it up, tiptoe, tiptoe, tiptoe. Look, I've got to here, my weight's already in my hands, I can feel it at this point. Tiptoe, 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 oh and look, my feet have just come off, okay? And then I can do more of this. When you're a bit stronger, then you can start to float into the position, you know? From here, up, bring the legs up into position, or from the front support, more of a sort of gliding like that. But in the first instance, to get the idea of the weight transfer, try this little tiptoe, like a little ninja, like sneak your way in, drawing up the whole time, like I'm pulling up so hard with my stomach and pushing down really, really hard with my arms as well. So to show it to you one last time, we're here, tiptoe, 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 pulling, 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 pushing, pushing, and then let's just rise up. Okay? And that's your tuck hold. Okay, so our next skill is going to be pike hold. Pike hold is just exactly the same as tuck hold, except you have this straightened knee, okay? So, same entry, except I have these straightened knees. Now, that's obviously a little bit more difficult than I'm making it seem, because actually to have your leg here and straight is quite challenging. So in this part, we're going to focus on exercises to be able to create this straight leg position that you can use for your pike hold. Okay, so you're going to need a wall or something. I've got this windowsill, which I can put my hand on. Now, we're going to draw into our stomach, create this nice tall standing posture, my hips are underneath, long through the back of my neck. I'm going to slightly turn my feet apart, okay? And then, this leg, the idea is what we're going for is going to look like this, okay? Now, what that action actually is my leg drawing back this way, okay? Think of it as your hip coming backwards. Now, we hide the chest coming forwards by just maintaining that posture, you just keep that position, okay? Like that. So, pulling back in it, and the glutes and the hamstrings coming underneath. Then it's just a matter of being able to keep the leg straight in that position, okay? When you first start, most likely it's going to only get to a certain height, but you should prioritize having a straight leg. Lengthen the back of your knee, lengthen the top of your foot. Now take this part, don't tense your leg too hard. Don't squeeze it, because that's going to make it really heavy. Make it long as it can possibly be, and as much tension as you need to make it long, but no more on top. No, I'm trying to make this really, really long, okay? Just as much as is required to keep it long there and keep it long there, and that may change as you bring it higher. As you bring it higher, it might be harder to keep the knee straight, so you're going to have to work harder to keep that there. But still, think that you're working on keeping the legs straight, not on just tensing sort of non-aimlessly, okay? Drawn in and pull, pull, pull. You're going to do 10, and then you'll hold the top for 10 seconds, and then you repeat exactly the same thing on the other side for 3 sets. Okay, next part, we're going to work this exercise on the floor. So, I've got my legs straight. Now, ideally, I want to put my hand on the floor halfway between my knee and my thigh. There. But your flexibility may not allow that in the first instance. I'm also keeping a nice flat back, okay? So I'm not rounding like this. I'm flat back, over, okay? And then, from there, pushing into the ground wherever I can. And I'm again working that action of pulling in the leg, okay? So we're going to go for 1, 2, 3, 4, up to 10, okay? Then again, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And then both legs together. This is where you really have to push into the ground, draw into your stomach. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And then hold for 5 seconds on the last one. And we're going to go for 3 sets of that as well. Now, when it comes to your L-sit, those 2 exercises, the leg lifts, the standing leg lifts and the seated leg lifts, they really are your best friend. Get 3 sets of each of those done twice a week. And just keep going on those, For the L-sit itself, you can try single leg extensions in the first instance, and try to keep that same idea. When you're going to extend the knee, when you're going to put the knee long and out, think about the hip coming backwards and into yourself, even more. So I've got it here, and I want to pull in as I extend the leg out, okay? So you can try from your tuck hold, like 1, 2, 3, 4. Little reps like that. You can try some holds even. So 1, 2, 3. All the while, those fundamentals that I've talked about in the earlier episodes are just so key. I'm working length in this arm, the external rotation, drawing up through my core. All of those things are completely maintained. And when you go to change something in the structure, when you go to extend the leg, before you do that, in the moments before you do that, you have to consolidate everything which is already in place. You have to make that longer, make that more drawn in, so it's like in lengthen as a chain reaction, okay? Otherwise the whole thing will drop down. From there, and I just think about that little thing, let's go push, push, and extend. And then you can work towards doing it with 2 legs. So maybe you can just get to there at first, little pulses. And then you're working towards there. Okay? But really, those supplementary exercises will get you there so much faster. Once you're there, then you can have a go at getting up to your pike hold from kneeling. So you're here, drawn in, reach up onto the parallettes, press, 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 drawing in my stomach, into position, and back. And into position and back. And from there it's just accumulating time. If you've got to that point, trying to get up to 10 seconds is a really nice thing for an L-sit, or if you can manage 30 seconds, then that's going to do you really, really well for your more advanced skills down the line. Okay, the next thing we're going to have a look at is our first sort of proper arm skill, or hand balance skill. So this is called frog balance, and it looks like this. This skill is actually a lot easier to learn on the floor first. So we can go on the floor first and then come back and put it on the parallettes. Okay, here we go, frog balance. So, my hands are going on the floor, slightly turned out, as if I were holding a parallette, coming up through here. Now, my knee has gone past my elbow. You see like that? So my hands are inside of my legs, and I'm drawing up through my stomach. So I'm already bringing in that reaching and pushing in the arms, which I keep talking about, okay? So, down through there. Ideally, your knee is coming slightly higher than your elbow, okay? I'm doing that just by pressing up on my foot, like that, just bringing me a little bit higher. Now, the sort of magic trick that makes it work is the forces in the arm and the forces in the legs, okay? I put it all in the right place. Now, I'm going to squeeze in with my legs, like as if I was going to crush my arms together, squeezing really, really hard. With my arms, bend and press out, and I'm resisting the squeeze of my legs. So my arms are pushing, my legs are pushing, they're fighting against each other, and they form a lockout. The final piece of that puzzle is really engaging in your core, taking control of the whole structure and rooting it all in the middle of yourself, okay? So I've got these pressures in place, and now from there, I'm just going to think about literally tipping myself forwards, and then my feet can come off. This will only work if you maintain all of those forces and you have a sense of upwardsness. Don't try to lean on your arms. You're trying to come up and away. Press up, 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 up. You're trying to be tall. You're trying to be tall the whole time. Not like, oh, I don't really want to do the work, you know? You have to be supporting yourself upwards. So to see it from the side, drawn in the core. Here, put my hands in the right place. Look, the knee past the arm. High above the elbow, and then pressing, squeezing, drawing in, trying to be high up, and then I can bring my feet away and in the frog balance. And now let's have a look at putting that onto the parallettes. Okay, so if we want to put this onto the parallettes, it's very much the same, except the getting in is a little bit more tricky. Tricky if you're a beginner, okay? So, set the beginning, strong. Now I have to actually put my arms in that outward press without the help of my leg, okay? So, drawn into my stomach, pressing, and I'm going to bring this leg up and start to squeeze it, and I'm pressing, and then I have to do this little hop to bring the other one up, okay? So there's a moment where you have to do a very quick bringing of the leg up onto the arm. If you are pushing and squeezing out and drawing in your core and strong in this other leg, it will just happen seamlessly. You'll hop up into the position. But you must make sure that you're ready to be doing it as soon as you're there. I was talking a moment ago about not drooping down on the position, not relaxing into it. You have to be holding yourself up, and that's even more the case when you're on the parallettes because you've got further to fall, and we don't. Okay, so strong, nice strong, this shape, yeah. I'm going to bend my hands a little bit, put that one up. I'm ready, and hook up into position, holding myself really nice and strong. And upwards. And that's your frog balance on the parallettes. Okay, the final bit of work for this video, we're going to try and combine two of the positions that we've worked on, the frog balance and the L-sit. Or you can even do frog balance and tuck sit. Okay? Now, what that's going to look like is getting into our frog balance and then down to L-sit, like that. Okay, so there's something quite key which allows me to control the fall, the negative motion when gravity is pulling me down. It makes me want to drop. Okay, so I'm here in the frog balance, and if I come here, what stops me from doing that? Okay, well, surprise, surprise, it's that big push, the very first thing that I taught you in the series, the pushing through the arm. Your arms have to be so ready to receive your weight as soon as you bring your legs off and drawing into the core. If you can manage that, then you can start to control down the descent and have your legs hover. And it's got to be seamless. There's not a moment where you aren't holding yourself on your arm. You can't relax. You have to pick yourself up off and guide yourself down. Now, that idea of picking yourself up, to make it a bit easier for your arm, you can lift and then go down. Because that gives your arm a moment to know, like, right, I'm in control, and now the body comes through. Okay? Now how do we do that lift from here? It's quite tricky, right? So you need to be thinking about your core. Imagine you've got this little yellow ball behind your belly button, and your hips, your glute muscles, those are going to sort of hoik up and off your arm like a little hop, and then you come into the space. So the first thing that you can try is just hopping down into the space. So if we're here, we're going to go and just down into the space like that. Okay? It's just a little bit of an upwardsness. You might be able to see it. So we're there, and up, and down. Okay? Now you might have noticed that when I slowed it down a little bit. The next phase is to use your strength, use the length in your arm to make that really slow motion, okay? So I'm here, and I'm using the length in my arm, slowing myself down. And look, I've actually naturally come to a tuck hold rather than letting myself go, because if I do all of those things, if I have straight arms and I'm kind of off the floor anyway, you know, I have to actively bend them to go down if I'm holding my legs up as much as I want to, okay? So, from there, your work is just practicing those negatives, practicing it slowly, coming into position. And then if you have your L-sit, it's just a matter of straightening your legs, quite simply, okay? So here, and straighten your legs, L-sit. So that's the final skill in this series. As a little taster for more of the intermediate series, what doing this slowly can offer you is the same skill back in the other direction. So if we were to start from our L-sit and go up to frog balance. See, I control it. Woo! Can't quite do it there. I'll do it one more time. Okay? So, strong, up. So perhaps I need to practice my negatives a little bit more. But you see the idea. Practice the negative, control, strong for the position, and that's how you start to do things which are looking a little bit more, you know, a little bit more like what calisthenics is sort of all about, moving your bodies in ways which look impossible. But anyway, that's it for these skills. That's it for the frog balance to L-sit, and I'll wrap up now. Okay, brilliant, there we go. So that's Parallettes Fundamentals Part 2, all finished. We did the tuck hold, the L-sit with all the leg extension exercises. We did the frog balance, and then we had a look at going from frog balance down into L-sit. Now, all of these skills rely on the fundamentals that we learned in the first part of the series, Part 1. So again, if you haven't had a look at that, really do go back and have a look and make sure you've consolidated all of those things. If you would like more help with your Parallettes, I am an online calisthenics coach, and I have various packages and ways that you can work with me. If you go to my website, which is coachjamie.co.uk, you can find out more there. If you want to see more of what I do, then follow me on Instagram. That's @_coach.jamie_. Beyond that, I hope that you found this video itself very useful. If you do have any questions or any thoughts, then leave a comment, that'd be really useful. And if you like what I'm doing, then you can subscribe to the channel, and I'll be doing more and more of this going forward. So for now, thank you very much for watching. I hope it was useful.